we're back.
And we're back, folks. Good to be here on the Cavalry, as always. my man.
I gave you space there to drive the car. You just careened
Did I take it?
into an embankment.
How so? I thought I was driving pretty smooth.
Oh, play that back. Someone, please. My man.
Well, right when you hit go, I was like, oh shit, I gotta hit record on my phone because I record the audio so that I can listen to it when I'm driving to do clips cutting.
Oh, you did that, man. That's pretty involved. Look at you. Put in
and
the
then
effort.
and then I match it up to the files.
Oh, it's very smart.
Well, I'm a smart man.
Well, I have an update about our so I went back on our YouTube page
Yes.
and you can appeal.
Oh,
Because you know how they took our last episode down because it was
called suck.
Yeah, and so they said it was nudity, and I'm like, I promise you, there's no nudity. So I wrote in the appeal like, hey, I understand it says suck in the title, but we were using that in the way to mean bad. You may have heard of that. I was being a little patronizing. Pretty common, and then I was like, I promise, just two guys podcasting, no nudity. You can watch the whole thing, don't worry. I'm telling you, like 6 minutes later, appeal denied.
What?
So it's like you didn't even have time to watch it. There's no way they could have watched the whole hour podcast episode to determine that there was nudity or not nudity in the episode.
Oh, we got to take it to the Supreme
But
Court.
there is no Supreme. There's no like next. Now I get why all these right wing podcasters get so upset, because there is no next step. There's no human person to deal with. Like the computer said no twice, and that's all you get.
Oh, well, then maybe. All right, we'll do a workaround. We re-upload with.
I think if I re-uploaded it under a different title,
it'll know.
It would, maybe if I changed the title, it would let it go through.
You have to change the title.
I'm scared now because
the same file.
We have one strike. You understand? You get. I think it's like 2 strikes, you're out. I don't know if it's baseball. Maybe you get 3. I'm not sure, but
yeah, baseball.
They're very severe about it. It's very scary to read. And the whole time I'm like, oh man, we got. And I was like, what the fuck? What do I care?
Don't we?
8 of you guys are watching it on YouTube.
Hey, what? There was a. Keep your shoes on at all times. It said it was just uploaded 2 hours ago. Is this accurate?
Is that right? To the Buzzsprout?
No, to YouTube.
Oh. Maybe they're throttling us down, Johnny. Maybe we're on probation and they had to screen it before they were worried it was some sort of foot fetish thing, because it's like, oh, these nudity guys are back at it.
But don't we have like don't we have like titles that are like, oh, my balls are in the mouth?
Oh yeah, that's what's so funny. Yeah, I think we probably do have titles, or like, my penis is up your ass or whatever, and then nothing got flagged. The classics, classic ups.
Yeah, the classic ups. Early days Cavalry.
Early days of the Cavalry.
We didn't give a fuck, man.
Well, now I know. Now YouTube in the nanny state. Meanwhile, okay, so YouTube doesn't allow us to say suck when it comes to airlines, right?
Right.
That's how much of a censorship Disney Plus ass website they are. Then on Max, about Max?
Sure, formerly known as HBO.
No, it's just Max.
Oh,
but no, you're right. It was
formerly
known.
Yeah. Okay.
So I went for a walk. I talked to my mom. She likes to recommend television shows. She's like, hey, you know what show you should watch? It's called Naked Attraction. It's a reality show.
Yeah.
And you know how it works?
No.
It's on Max. So they start out, there's some person there. The one we watched, me and my wife watched it last night. There's a woman, and there's 6 contestants, and they're behind glass boxes, right? and they
Okay.
show them naked from the waist down, and then the person has to like eliminate somebody based on just that, not talking, not seeing anything else, but just the waist down, and then it raises it up to like their neck, and then they eliminate somebody else, then it raises it up to their face and they eliminate somebody else, then they talk to them, they eliminate, they get down to like two people, then they pick somebody. Now, I'm not, when I say naked from the waist down, you're like, oh, in their underwear? No, the dicks are out, the vaginas are out. This is a show on Max that anyone can watch. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's, I mean, they have a rating, so they have R-rated movies on Max
Yeah,
as
but we
well.
can't, we are YouTube. I mean, YouTube is the internet. This
I
is a
know.
television channel. It used to be.
That's all right. It's,
Let me tell you something about this show. We watched 2 episodes. Very unsettling. Nobody's attractive, just waist down, especially men. It's
oh
just
yeah,
like dicks dangling, and a little bit of gut and hair and everything, you know? It's not a good, it just doesn't look
yeah.
great. And then because you're just looking at that, and then there's this host, and the host is all snotty about it, like, oh, and they're British. It's all British. Oh, quite a bit of hair on him. And it's like, hey, you get naked.
Yeah.
Shut up. Get really,
Yeah.
you can tell how defensive I would be because I'm getting defensive on behalf of all the like
Oh, the guy. Yeah.
naked guys.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's a trip. You should watch it.
So there's no, you're not seeing any like, you know, there's no supermodel. It's all, is it guys or girls?
Well,
I
there
mean,
a
does it go
couple
both
of them,
ways?
yeah. I mean, they're British, so nobody's like blowing you away. But
Oh, everyone's British, not just the
yeah, the
host.
whole show. It's a British show, clearly, that they just
Oh,
like
okay.
this writer's strike. They're getting desperate, I think, so they're
Oh
just
my
taking
God.
anything.
They should start by showing just their teeth,
Yeah,
just a gap in the teeth, and then they move down to their crotches.
there's one guy. He was like, and you could tell, like, you know, I mean, think of the type of people who are willing to do this. So they're gonna be weird already.
Yeah.
And then this one dude, he had like he had like elephant ears tattooed
Oh
around
my
his dick, so it looked
Yeah.
like on his thigh, so it looked like his dick was the elephant's trunk.
Sure.
Yeah. And then like they asked him like, what do you like about your body? What do you not like about it? He's like, well, I don't love my elephant ears tattooed. It's like, I'm glad you brought that up.
So the one thing that was under your control,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I highly recommend everyone. My
Oh, that's
mom, she's
hilarious.
binging through it. She's watching
So
it all.
your mom recommended that.
Yeah, that was the
Hey
one from
Andrew,
my
why don't
mom.
you watch the show with a bunch of bare dicks?
Well, and then I asked, I was like, well, do you like my dad is very like sort of squeamish about that kind
Oh,
of
is he a
stuff.
dick guy? Oh, he's what? He's squeamish.
He's a big dick guy. No, he's like gets uncomfortable very quickly with any nudity or sex
Yeah.
scene or any like ever since we were kids. And so I was like, has it been on when because they don't really watch TV together. I was like, has it been on when she's like, no, he doesn't know. Like he hasn't been around when I've been watching it. He's in the basement. So I was like, don't even tell him. I was like, just like casually turn it on when he's in the room and just
Yeah.
have him react. It would make me laugh.
That is hysterical.
Would you go on if you were single?
Well,
Would you go
like you brought
on?
up a good point before I answer that. You brought up a good point. Like if I was like the guy, if I was the person picking, if I was the girl picking or whatever, I'd be like, I don't pick any of you because you're the type of person
Right.
that has come on this show and is showing your
Yes.
dick
Can I
on
just like
a reality show.
go on a date with like the producer of this thing or someone who's, you know what I mean? But then they make, okay, so they are fair. They make the contestant get naked at the end of it.
Oh,
So the person
the person
picking,
picking.
yeah.
Oh,
And
oh,
both times we watched it was a woman picking, and the first one it was a straight woman, and she was picking dudes, so it was all dicks. And then the second time it was a bi woman, and so it was like half vaginas,
oh.
half dicks.
Okay.
and she picked vagina. But they both got
Spoiler alert.
yeah. Sorry, sorry. Well, I didn't say which one.
So much for Ep 2.
But the host gets to just walk around and make her snarky little British comments, and she
Oh, it's
doesn't
a
have to
girl.
get.
The host is a
The host is a
female.
lady. Yes,
Okay.
very critical.
Critical of the penises, huh?
Yeah, and the gut. She's like, oh, a little bit of squidgy, or what does she call it? It's like using their British words to call people fat.
Oh my
Like you're
god.
gonna give people a complex.
Yeah.
But I,
Oh,
you know,
I don't think I would do that. No.
no. What would they have to pay?
Oh yeah. If they, well, that's a good point. If I was single,
If you're single and
and
you did not have kids, because I assume the kids, you
yeah,
wouldn't want your.
and don't watch Daddy's show.
Hey, Daddy finally made it on Max. Don't watch though.
Yeah, skip till 45 minutes in. Uh yeah, I don't know. God. I mean, what's your number? 100,000?
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. $100,000. But then
Okay.
I still would be. I don't even know. I mean, like, if I was single, had no kids, $100,000, I might do it. Might. I'm not even saying for sure. 200 grand, I'd probably for sure do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's like, and this is assuming you can't like use a fake name or whatever.
Right.
And it's not even like, okay, so you get eliminated. I would even do it if I would be more likely to do it if you got eliminated before they show your face. If you didn't ever have to like,
Oh, do
but
they? So like if you get eliminated on your dick
walk
alone,
out, they make them walk out and do like an awkward hug while they're naked. They do like an ass
oh
out
my
hug
god.
of the contestant. So they have to
This
like see. I was like, I don't want my face to be on this show if it doesn't have to, you know?
Oh my god. We got to talk off the air. Someone's going to steal up this idea, but man, what are we doing? We got to just come up with a reality show idea. These are the dumbest. Like this is
I know.
ridiculous.
I
This is
know.
something I would think to come up with in 5th grade.
And
Oh, let's
there's, you
tell
know what? And then I was
because you
like,
get to see their penises.
and you know what? It is shocking because you do realize like we have like caught up in um gender equality, I think, with like nudity and stuff. But
Sure.
it is still you are not prepared to see like a naked penis for a long time. Even like in movies now, they might flash it quick.
Yeah, but you ever notice when that happens, if you see a dick in a movie, it's a comedy.
Huge
Okay.
laugh. Oh, that's the biggest laugh in the movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a penis.
There's no like sensual dicks. There's no
Right.
like, yeah. But it's alarming, you know? I mean, when
Yeah.
you're watching it, you're like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
I don't see one of those
Yeah.
every day other than
Yeah, yeah,
mine.
yeah, yeah. And then they give all these statistics during it. They're like, actually, the average flaccid male penis. You're like, I don't know. Just hold on there. Don't need to hear any science about this. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with
Oh
who
my
I am.
gosh. Yeah. That's oof. I don't know.
But it's like necessity breeds and oh, so that's what I was gonna say. It was like, so you're like, oh well, they're just desperate because there's this writer's strike, and then so every
Yeah.
idea. No, 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 no. 7 seasons. This has been on the air, and we're just now
But you
finding out about.
started. You started season 1.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Do you think you're gonna go all 7?
yeah. Well, I'm worried the writing will get a little stale in season 4, but no, I'm done with it. I'm not watching anymore.
You
I did
watched how many episodes?
two, two.
Okay,
Yeah, that was enough.
that was enough.
I mean, and then also like
Well, maybe
you're
I'll
gonna
watch
get
this
you're
episode 3 and 4 just to see if there's anything we can talk about next time.
yeah, yeah. You see if it gets any better. But you know how like there's like in France there's like these perfume testers, and they're like they have these perfect noses and they can smell subtle
Oh, sure.
differences of perfumes. But then
Isn't there a
after,
name for that?
yeah, I think so. I can't remember, but they get burned out. Like they can only do the job into their like 30s or 40s because at a certain point you smell too much perfume in intense levels that your
Yeah.
nose can't smell. I feel like that's what would happen at that show. You'd see so many dicks that you'd get dick blindness. You'd be like, I don't. They
Yeah.
just all look the same to me. I can't even tell one dick from the other anymore.
It's Somali, yeah, a Dick Sommelier, right? Is that what the name is?
Yeah, that's what. Well, sommelier is like for wine, but exactly, it
Oh,
works the same way. Yeah, but good
okay.
pull. Actually,
I think I learned that word from you. Didn't you say that in
probably
pre-record?
if I mean, I don't know. I might be your classiest friend.
You ever what do they ever have like, okay, here's the first dick. Oh, that's kind of weird. Look at that guy. And then they get and it's like, oh wow, this guy is rock hard. This guy is rock hard.
Well, it is interesting because I like you do think like Heidi and I were like, oh, because she gets naked at the end,
Yeah, at
you
the end.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he's standing. They take him out of from his
Oh
glass.
yeah, like when they do the
There's two
awkward
of
hug.
them out of their glass box, and they're down to two, and she's naked and they're naked,
Yeah.
and so then you're like, you know what I mean? Like it could get and
Right.
then they go and hug and stuff. So yeah, I mean, but they didn't show. I don't remember seeing any erect penises.
Yeah. I wonder
Maybe
if just the
maybe be nervous
nervousness.
and the lights
Yeah.
and everything. You know,
Yeah.
give you new
I don't know,
respect
man.
for porn actors. But the but that's what's funny too. Like when they start, they're all in their glass boxes, and then it's far away, you know. So that
Yeah.
it's not like they just go zoom 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 all like on the penises, but the hosts go, does anything stand out for you? And she's like, oh, and they have their it's color coordinated, so each box is different color. Oh well,
Okay.
orange is quite nice. So then they just walk on over to orange and just start like talking about the
Looking
guy's
at his
dick.
dick?
Yes,
Oh my God.
it's crazy. You got to watch it, you and
Oh
Aaron. But let me tell
jeez.
you something. Be careful because we watched it last night, and then Ginger wanted to watch her Spider-Man show today, and
Yeah.
you just the way the Apple TV works, you just bring it up, and it was still on the fucking and like ah! You're like changing it as fast as you can. The
Yeah.
CPS is going to take now. If YouTube doesn't take this one down, I don't know what's wrong with them. But my
Well, it
point,
depends what we call it.
yeah, we'll call it.
Dick Somali.
Yeah, call it Spider-Man.
No.
Then no one will suspect the thing.
Oh,
So that's there you go. Naked Attraction. Check it out,
naked
everybody.
attraction. All right, I'm gonna check it out. Man, yeah. What would if we came up with a show? If we just had the idea for a show like that, you got any ideas?
No, but it's harder.
Okay, well, what else do you want to talk about?
It's harder than it looks because you're on the one hand you're like, oh, it's so you know, get people naked and of
Yeah,
course everyone will watch that. But then there is like a fine line. Then you're like, well, how do you make it so it's not just porn, you know? And this is the closest it feels like they've ever gotten to just like doing porn, but not. It's like actually somehow a game show, and it's
yeah.
then they go on a date at the end.
Does it feel like a game show or more of a reality show? Which
It
one?
feels like a dating show, like an old fashioned sort of like
Love
match
connection.
game. I mean, they're not. There's no live studio audience, and there's
Yeah.
no band. This would be great if there's a band, but the
You think they'll make an American version with Nick Lachey and what's
oh,
her name?
absolutely, they will absolutely make an American version because that's all we know how to do. All we know how to do is make American versions of British and Australian and Japanese television shows.
You know they're the host of a different show. I saw an ad on
Who?
Netflix. Nick Lachey and what's his wife? That snarky
Uh,
girl. You know
uh,
his wife.
Jessica Simpson.
No, his next wife. I forget her name.
I don't
The
know.
brown hair. But they are co-host of another reality
Reba
show.
McEntire.
That's it. Reba
Thank you.
McEntire.
No, I have no I have no idea.
You know, I don't know either.
They're hosting a show.
They're
No, this
hosting
is like
another reality show like The Ultimatum or something like that on
yeah.
Netflix.
This was the time you I think we missed our moment because they just settled this writer's strike. But that was the time to pitch reality shows because they would have accepted anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I used to do the paid audience work. Did you ever do
Yeah.
that in LA? We talked about this.
Uh, I did not. I've done it, but it
It's
was
a
like when I was visiting LA.
it's a step below on the ladder, like one rung down from being an extra. Like an
Right.
extra is where you're trying to get in show business, and this is below that. This is like literally you're a human set piece. Like
Right.
you would get like $40 cash for
And
some
it could be
reason.
like a 10-hour day.
Yeah. And then Doritos, and you're like not allowed to leave. And if you do, they'll shoot you. And it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I did it a few times. And then because sometimes you do it on the talk or something, and then they'd give you a free book or whatever. You're like, oh, cool. Well, I did it. Here's the worst reality show I've ever seen. It was this thing called the Singing Bee. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
And we would
This
do
is
we
not that long ago, right? This is
no,
like the
no, no,
last
no. I
10 years.
mean, I don't know. It was probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
But they would sing, it was like karaoke. And then they would sing, and then if they'd pull the words away, and then they'd have to
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
finish the words or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it
you
was
were
so,
an
I
audience
was
member in
there
that?
live. I was like, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen. And then I would try to get the other losers with me to bet our pay. I was like, all right, if you take, like, let's pick a horse, who do you think's gonna win? And then we'll
Yeah.
all pool the money together. Whoever wins takes home, like, instead of $40, someone's gonna make like, $180 or something. But
Yeah.
no,
And a
nobody.
bunch of people are going to take home nothing.
Well, yeah, but at least it's got to be exciting. You'd be like
Yeah. You
into it.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be
Exactly.
clapping more. Oh, because there's just nothing worse than like when they force you to be excited. Like, come on, let's clap, everybody. Like, oh, fuck you. I just want to
Care. Come on.
care,
Care.
care about the show.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah,
So how many times did you do it? Just one time?
I think the
You
singing
go
bee a
with
couple
people?
times. No, 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 by myself.
So you're just like talking to strangers. Hey, you want to gamble?
Yeah, that's how bored I was.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
Man, you seem like
glamorous.
you seem like you're good at making friends. Better at making friends than me.
I'm really not, actually. None of them became my friend, so I wouldn't say I was good at it.
Mm.
Do you think you're good at making friends? Like, are you friends with people in Madison besides people who you knew before you moved there?
Um not really. I mean, I know, acquaintances. I mean,
Yes,
like
that's what I
neighborhood friends,
have.
friends, my wife and her friends and their husbands. Now, I'm friends with them. But like as
Yes.
far as like me making friends,
Right. Somebody like
uh
Jason Russell who you would just call or text a picture
yeah,
of your poop,
no.
or you know what I mean?
No, I don't.
I'm same way. Since I moved to Portland, I feel like, you know, there's people we like hanging out with. There's a couple, or
Yeah,
I can joke around, like some comics I can joke around with and stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, it's true, man. You get older, it is tough.
But is it tough because
Or are we just
you
bad
don't
at it?
care, or because you're not trying, or because you're like, yeah, I'm
Well,
good. I know how this
yeah,
goes.
I would like the Seahawks are playing Monday Night Football next week, right?
Okay.
I wish there was like two or three options I could text to be like, "Hey, would you want to go, or you want to go to this? There's a bar by our house or whatever. Go
Okay.
watch the game."
Yeah.
But I don't
But you don't have that.
I don't think there's any, because the comics I know, these Portland comics, are all like dorks. They don't watch football, no offense. And then
Excuse me? I watched the Packer game
but
on
see,
Sunday, by the way.
if we lived in the same city, I wouldn't care that you weren't interested in the game. I would just bother you anyway to see if you would come hang out with me while I watch the game. Like, that's how well we know each other. So
That would be great. Yeah.
I'd feel comfortable going, I know Johnny doesn't give a shit, but I just like don't want to go to this bar by myself.
Yeah. Seeing how many wings he can eat will be
Let
my
me yeah,
sideshow while I
yeah.
watch the game.
Johnny will do a hot dog eating contest at halftime, and then I'll watch the game. It'll be great.
Yeah. So you didn't watch the Packer game though, right? Because you can't like,
I
I mean,
watched
you
it
know
on
about it.
no, because wait, were they when were they? They were on in the early game. I
They
was
were on.
driving.
They were
I
on
was
at noon, my
yeah.
time.
Yeah, so they were on early. So I
Yeah,
was driving back still from Bend, so I missed it.
but you heard
Jordan
about
Love,
it.
Jordan Love is on one of my fantasy teams. So I heard about it. It was a great game. And Jordan Love uh, pulled a pulled out some points for himself at the
Yeah.
end, which was great for me. But yeah,
Oh
huge,
yeah,
very
he's on my
exciting.
team. That was very exciting, and I can't help it. Like my takeaway from it was like, it's so funny because that fourth quarter was 17-0, and I thought, oh man, how fun would that be if they end up winning? And they did, but I'm just thinking like if the game's over, I was like, oh my god, how is that kicker for the Saints? How does he not
Oh,
like?
well, what did he miss? He kicked it at the end and he missed it.
Yeah, I mean it was off to the side, and I don't know how far it was, but it wasn't like a 50-yarder. It was,
It
it
was
was like,
closer than 50.
oh yeah,
Oh, I didn't
I
know
don't know what
that.
it was, but I mean there was enough time. Like there was probably, I don't know. I think there was probably a hair over a minute left. So if they
They
did
could
get
have
it, we'd
come
have a
down and
chance
yeah.
to get close enough. But he missed it, and it was like, oh well, now we just run out the clock and it's over.
Okay, so this is really interesting about that game, and because I read about it later, but they did the thing where so it was 17-0, right? And
Yeah,
I think
start of the fourth quarter.
they must have had it must have been 17-3 at some point because they were down 14, right? And they scored a touchdown, I think, to make it so they must have scored a touchdown to make it seventeen
They
nine. So they
At
scored
some point they
six.
did a 2 point conversion that I
That's what I
missed.
want to get to. So it must have been 17-3. Then they score six, about to kick the extra point, 17-9, but they go for two. Now they're down
Yes.
four. Now, this is what the analytics people, these are the people who like are nerds
Uh
and they
huh.
love like numbers and probabilities and statistics. They
Yeah.
say if you're down 14 at the end of the game and you score a touchdown, you go for two. Now, now, old school football people cannot understand this because they're like, why? You just kick the extra point. Now you're down seven. Now you all have to do is score one more touchdown, kick the extra point. Now you forced overtime. Well, these analytical people say your odds are better of kicking of
Of getting the 2 points.
well, twice. You have two chances to get it if you think about it, because you're going to either get it if you get it the first time, then all you have to do is kick the extra point if you score the next
Right.
touchdown and you're going to be up by one. But if
Yes.
you miss it the first time, you just go for it again, and odds are
Oh.
those two times.
Oh, I see. So
Interesting
you have two
that they
attempts
did it.
at victory versus the safe tie.
Right, right.
Oh,
Exactly.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
funny
I've
because I
never
did.
seen it happen because someday it's going to happen where the guy goes for it, doesn't get it. Then they score another touchdown. Now they're
And
down
one of them.
eight, and he doesn't get it that time either. And everyone's going to crush him
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
because it's easy to play the game when it works, but when it doesn't work is when everyone kills you.
Yeah.
You do anything different. But anyway, that's good football talk, baby.
Yeah. Good sports talk. Sports talk on the Cavalry.
Sports
You heard
talk
it
on
here
the
first.
Cavalry.
Right.
107.4.
Your number one source for Seahawks and Packers chatter on the airwaves.
Oh, we should totally transition to a football podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get to topics?
Let's
And you have
get.
anything else? Any other pre-show discussion?
Okay. Well, since we were talking about Friends. This
Oh,
is
I
makes
have
a
a good.
transition.
Remind me. I have a good post-show banner
Oh,
topic,
okay.
which we haven't touched on yet. Comedy related.
All
So,
right.
but just
Oh, can I? Can I? Oh, that reminds me. Your tweet. So spot on. I think every comedian, like that's the thing that's so relatable to comedian when you were like every 5 years, I'm
yes,
just down in the down. Then you come up with one or whatever that you said. Then you're like,
one new
you get
bit that
one
kind
joke
of
that
works.
has, yeah, it kind
This
of works, and
kind
you're
of
like all
works.
set.
Because I was
Like,
like very frustrated with this Bend weekend because it didn't sell the way I wanted it to, and I got, I probably came back to or whatever happened. It just didn't work out. So it didn't make any money and it was very frustrating. And it's like you want to quit. But then it's like, but then I had one new bit to try. And it's
Yeah.
really stupid. And it doesn't even like, I don't even know if it'll have legs. But that got me through Saturday. I was like, hey man, I came down here, I probably barely broke even, but I feel pretty good right now.
Yeah. My wife has commented on that where like I'll be like just depressed for weeks. And
Yeah.
then it's like and then you go, and then you go do a gig and it's like it's almost like offensive. Like I have to kind of monitor my mood or because it's like, oh, comedy.
Yeah, no, I know.
Comedy can make me happier,
Oh,
like it's
it's
almost like
been, yeah, Heidi can tell. It's been like bleak around here for a while. I'm like, just like, it's like your daughter's giggling and like, oh, wow, she just did a cartwheel for the first time. You're like, God, this Booker didn't email me back. I'm
yeah,
fucking gonna
I
kill
gotta make this
myself.
fart joke work. Yeah.
But then you come home from an open mic that had 14 people and like eight of them liked your joke. You're like, I'm the king of the world. Let's go to France, baby.
You come
It's the
home
same thing
and
with money. It's so funny because like jokes, I mean, I think Jay Leno talks about how you can like literally calculate the value of each joke or whatever, but it's hard to really think about it that way. But I can feel broke and look at my calendar and see not a lot of good dates on it and
yeah,
feel really pessimistic. But
yeah.
if you write a new bit that works, you just feel rich. You're like, well, clearly I'm going to be
Yeah,
famous.
this is gonna change real fast.
It gives you all this optimism. And then the reverse is true where your calendar could be packed, but if you have no, if you're not working on anything new and like, even if it's just old stuff, feels stale, you're like, this
Oh,
career is going nowhere. I'm just grinding this out until I
yeah.
slowly fade away, you know?
I'm
So
just in the way. I'm bothering other comedians.
yeah, I'm just taking up space, taking up weekends. Everyone's just
Yeah.
waiting for me to quit. You know.
Uh,
Anyway, so yeah, that's where that came from because I was very down. Well, still kind of am, but
now that I think about it.
yeah, if I think about it too long,
But
now
how,
I'm
I mean, okay, not to dwell on, but like, wow, how were the number? Like, it was
oh
worth it
well,
to do
so
the
like,
shows, though, right?
so my idea was like, okay, last time I did this same room, it seats like 120. We sold out, and then I was only doing one night, and we didn't do a second show, but they like turned away like 30 or 40 people at the door. So I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. So I was like, I'll come back. I'll do two nights. Originally, it was like I'll do four shows because like maybe it's just like a town that's like ready for comedy. I know I'm not famous, but I'm like maybe they're just like looking for something to do. And so I set it up for just Friday, Saturday. I was like, we'll do the late shows if it sells well, but we'll just focus on the early shows. And I ran the same type of ads, but the ad just was not performing the same way it normally does. And I have like all these theories on why, but part of me thinks it's too small of a market to have to come back within a year
Oh,
because it was
yeah, okay.
not even a year between the two. So the ad, I think people just didn't. They'd already interacted with it the first time, and so they're like, not. I
Yeah,
don't know what, but that didn't work. And then the day of, Friday sold. I think we did like 60 or something. So I was like, all
yeah,
right, if we do 60 again, I'll make like a little money, maybe break even. And then, but Saturday was the one that wasn't selling at all. So then I panicked and I rather like a day of ad. There's more of a clicker, like instead of it just went directly to the link. And that one was
yeah,
doing super well on the day of. And I thought I stumbled onto this new strategy where I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like instead of getting people all hyped about it months before and counting on them to remember to buy tickets, just hit them that day where like you're getting the people looking for something to do that night and it was working. But then the site kind of crapped out on me. They use a Bend ticket, their own like kind of indie ticket site, and it was saying it was sold out. Like literally, I have a screenshot on my phone. It says like the show for Saturday is sold out. So I was like, I did it. I was so pumped. And I
Yeah.
was like, I emailed the booker. I was like, hey, what are we at? It says we're sold out on the thing. And she's like, we're at 41. I was like, God damn it.
Why it says
So
sold out?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it just like screwed up. So then like a bunch of people, I don't know. So we ended up selling like 50 something. And then the the I'm sure there are people though that like clicked on the ad and saw it was sold out and just didn't buy it.
Oh
So I
shit, that
did
sucks.
save myself a little bit with that. So that was good. And it was kind of a good lesson for the future of like, okay, I kind of have moves if we're stuck, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um
Huh.
anyway, the lesson is here's the real lesson. If your ad is not working, just cut it. Like give it like 3 or 4 days, but it's not going to get any better. So just like
Okay.
stop. Don't throw good money after bad. Just stop and then try like a new
What,
technique.
change your ad?
Change it. You can try changing the video or the clip or the words or whatever. But I tried everything on that bend one and it just was not hitting. So I was like, what I should have done is just pulled it and then ran like different types of ads or on different platforms or whatever the day of or a couple days before. But that's scary because you're like, what if you get
Yeah.
zero? Because this isn't a place, this isn't like a comedy club. It's not like they have no internal audience.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
all,
There's no built-in. Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting everybody out
How
myself.
much do you? How much do you think you spent on the ads alone?
Like probably 400, I think.
Yeah.
So you talk that plus, and that's too much. I don't like to spend that much, but that's because I threw, like I said, good money after bad.
Yeah.
And then the venue rentals was 500, and then plus I'm getting my own hotel and I rented a car, and so it's like broke even territory for sure. Because
Hmm.
we ended up selling like it's $20 a ticket. Luckily there's no ticket fees with what they use, so it was like total sold a little bit over 100, so it's like 2 grand.
Yeah.
But once you subtract everything,
Yeah.
you know
But you got the experience and the
but I
fun,
learned a
the
lesson
memory, and the new bit.
and a new bit. I think we'll see if it
Yeah.
has legs. I don't know. uh
Oh, did I tell you about the at the end of October? I'm doing the roast. They're doing in Madison. They're doing a roast of Batman. They want me to be. I'm Batman. Did I tell you about this?
no,
I
I
didn't realize
yes
that
you
all the
did.
characters are like they're not necessarily Batman related. Like Catwoman's one, but then there's like I can't remember what the other ones are, but like Stacy's mom, is that just
From the
I guess
song,
I that's my
Stacy's
only knowledge.
mom has
Yeah, like
got it
she's a slut or
going.
something. Here we go. Barbie, Dracula, El- Elon Musk, Kim Jong Un.
Oh, is it like a Halloween thing?
Oh yeah, I guess so. This is the end of October. There you go. All
Oh,
right. It's
that's
all
why the
starting
tickets all look like a pumpkin. I get it.
But so I got, but they're doing it like a Comedy Central, like the regular, where
Yeah, I
everybody
love it.
roasts everybody. So I got to come up. I got to, as Batman, I got to roast
Yeah,
Barbie, Dracula.
you get to
So
be Dean Martin. You should
yeah.
you should like watch those old Dean Martin roasts,
Hmm.
and like really like borrow from that. Because when they're the best part is when they're on the dais and they're giving reactions to the jokes and chiming in, and you know,
Yeah, but that's all spontaneous.
I know, but just like if you had
Oh
that
yeah, just to kind of,
attitude,
yeah,
you got
exactly.
like a
Okay.
cocktail and a cigar or something,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
you
Batman
know,
chewing on the
just
stogie.
leaning
Yeah.
back, and it'd be very funny if you're all ring a ding ding Dean Martin about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Now let me ask you
slur.
this.
You should get up there and like slur it. Do the Batman voice, but like slurring, like you've been drinking too much. Like Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh
But
man, yeah. Okay, well, give me the full list and I'll work
the
some work
well,
for you.
it's
Start writing.
Barbie,
Harvey,
Dracula,
Dracula,
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk,
Kim Jong
and
Un.
Catwoman.
Yep, and
Okay,
Stacy's mom.
Stacey. I'm not. I'm gonna skip Stacey's mom because I have no idea
Yeah,
what.
I gotta ask about that. But here's the thing: so if let's say you were on a show like this where it's like, oh, we're doing a roast,
Yeah.
and there's a Facebook group for it for all the comics on it, they're doing it, and they want you to put the jokes. They have like kind of a spreadsheet where it's everyone you put your jokes as you write them, you put them. Is that good? Because then everyone on the show knows your jokes going in. I mean, I think that's good because I'm Batman, so I'm going last. So like, if people are doing all my jokes ahead of time, then it's like, oh, what the fuck
Well,
do I do now?
oh,
But I
so that's
also,
so that there isn't like repeat jokes.
I get well, also, and you can write jokes like if you're like, oh, I have a good joke for Kim Jong Un to roast Catwoman, I can throw it in the spreadsheet and they can use it if they
Yeah,
want.
you should pull rank here and just go, yeah, yeah, send me that spreadsheet, but I'm not putting my jokes in
Full
there.
rank.
Yeah, you're
You know who
Batman.
I am? I'm
You're the
fucking
guest of honor.
yeah. I'm the guest of honor. You don't need my fucking yeah.
We only roast the ones we love.
Yeah. So I got some homework. I got some homework
Oh,
to
I
do for
love it.
Halloween.
I've got some homework. I've got some time coming up.
Yeah. I've already got that Catwoman
It's
joke
gonna
you
cut
wrote.
into my Zelda time on the ship. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, all right,
Oh,
let's do topics quick.
yeah, we should do in topics. All right.
What do you need backup on, Johnny?
All right. This is what I need backup on. Okay. Post credits scenes.
Oh, I love it already.
Can we just can we be done? Can we not?
Yes. Yes.
Can we be done? If you're Marvel and you have to do it, like do it after the I mean they kind of now they're doing two where they do the big name
Yeah.
credits
Oh yeah,
and then
no,
they
they've
do a
always done
scene
it
and
that
then they
way.
do the big fucking half hour credits and then
Yeah.
the big one. It's like nobody needs to see the FX crew of 90s name before
I know. The
Samuel L.
arrogance.
Jackson's
The
huh?
arrogance. The arrogance that they think you already paid 20
Yep.
bucks plus like another 20 bucks for soda and popcorn and you're watching this whole 3-hour movie. It's nonsensical, by the way. I'm so out on the whole Marvel thing. Like, I haven't watched anything since the girl with the giant hand slapping everybody around. Miss
I must have
Marvel.
missed that one. Who's that?
That was a Disney Plus
Marvel.
one where she was like a girl. Her hands would really get really big and she'd slap them all
Oh,
around.
you lasted longer than me.
Well, that's so I didn't watch the new Ant-Man or Guardians of the Galaxy, any of that stuff because I was like,
Oh,
I'm
I
just
see. I'll do the movies. The
uh,
shows. If you're gonna force me to do the shows to have the movies make sense, then you're gonna lose people on the movies because that's not
yeah.
fair.
Well, I'm so out. What and you know what got me out? I've brought this up before, but that multiverse is such a cop out.
Yeah,
Anything,
the Spider-Man one, right?
all of them are about the multi. Everybody's in the Ant-Man's a multiverse. The
Yeah.
anything that you don't like that didn't happen that doesn't make sense. Ah, it was a multiverse. That was a different timeline. The multiverse. We went back and fixed it or whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's total cop out. Anyway, what you're saying, yes. So they're already so arrogant that they think we're going to watch all their shows and we're going to watch every movie in order to understand the next movie and that we're going to, do homework before we go into the movie to make sure we remember everything that's going on. And we have to sit and
Get
watch
to the credits.
30 minutes of credits. Get over yourselves.
But even aside from like that's the thing is they've kind of poisoned the whole. Now it's like, oh, okay, let's say I go see, Mission Impossible or just some movie where it's like, maybe they would do that. Now I got to sit there, and then all of a sudden, the lights come on, and I'm like, well, god damn it! Like
yeah.
they need to have either an announcement like, okay, the movie's over. Stick around. We got a little piece of
No,
shit at the end if you
that's like,
nerds want to see it.
yeah, people are like waiting around at Downton Abbey's new movie. You're like, hey, thought something was gonna happen.
Everyone's phone, the credits start, everyone's phone goes on. That's what I do. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
Google.
everyone's
Is there a hidden
Googling.
scene? Nope. All
Yeah.
right, I'm out of here.
Well, and that's really what it should be is like you should just get if you buy a ticket to see, uh, uh whatever Iron Man, you
Yeah.
should get like a link immediately on your phone. That's just the post credit scene, and they're like,
Yeah.
when the movie's over, just click this link, and now you
Yeah.
can
Go
watch
home
it.
and watch it in your car
Yeah,
right before you drive home.
yeah, or as you drive home. We don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so with you because I've sat around and then like I've done that thing too where you in the especially in the early Marvel days where you're like you watch that first post credit scene and then all the noobs get up and walk out. And then
Yeah.
you're sitting there and you see some fat guy by himself and he's staying and you're like, oh, he knows. This bald guy with a stained t-shirt. He knows. So I'm like, all right, I guess I gotta sit here for 20 more minutes and watch the Japanese third director's crew get all their credit.
And the worst is when it's like it's just some fucking throwaway joke where it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
fucking Thor farting at the restaurant. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
what I fucking gave up
That,
19 minutes of my day for.
that's what I learned, I think, too, is like, at least in the Marvel world, is that second one, the one that's after the long credits, is not canon or it's not like necessary to story, you know?
Right.
So really those people who leave are right. Like watch that first
Yeah, they're
post
better.
credit scene and then just go because whatever's happening after that is pointless.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. We're on the same page.
I think they should do something though where they do like just a whole another movie after the credits and
The
just really
credits
try to
end
catch
and there's
people.
like
Just make the
40
movie like an
movies.
hour and 10 minutes long, and then everyone's like, "Oh man, that was kind of short." Do the whole credits and then sneak another movie in at the end,
That's a great idea. That is a
right?
great idea.
If you
And
really,
it's not even a climactic point. It's just like in the middle. It's just when it
yeah,
would be a
it's the middle of the
blackout scene.
movie.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I guess they're doing like a part two. Okay, and then a bunch of idiots leave, and then it's like, no, this is the end. You guys were smart, but if the
That's what they would do in Naked. If they were still making Naked Guns, that'd be a great gag
yeah,
for that.
yeah, that would be pretty good. I had an idea for a spoof type movie like Naked Gun, where it was I think I called it like Amnesia Cop 2,
Okay.
but the whole point was there was no Amnesia Cop 1. So it was a sequel to a movie that's never existed, right? And then
Right.
so it was all these jokes in the movie about like, oh boy, here we go again, but everyone's like looking around like what are you talking about? And so the cop, the amnesia cop was like the audience's kind of way in cuz he's like doesn't remember all the it'd be like if you're watching
This
what
is
was that
great. You're giving this away. I mean, geez.
Keanu, what's the Keanu Reeves one where he fights everybody?
Matrix
The Matrix. Yeah. So it'd
or
be
John
like
Wick.
if you're Neo in the second Matrix, they're obviously not explaining every detail of the Matrix anymore because they
Right,
assume the
right.
audience remembers. But he would be walking around like, "What the fuck is going on? I don't
He
understand,"
has amnesia.
because he's an amnesia cop.
And so everyone's like, well, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
you
So
defeated
everyone's
this
tried,
army.
and then there's like just like people show up that it's supposed to be this big moment, and he has no like so it's,
Amnesia
it's
cop.
basically like trying to create the experience of someone who's watching the sequel, like Iron Man 2, having never seen Iron Man 1 or something.
I love
That's
it.
what I was going for.
That's great.
That's when I lived. That was when I was living in Boston, and I was like writing it on note cards, I think, but it never.
So you started writing it?
I started writing on note cards each scene because I read in some book the way to write a movie was to write like 90 note cards, and each note card was a scene. And I think I wrote about 62 and said, I don't know how anyone ever writes a movie and gave up. But my wife writes screenplays and it's incredible because she finishes them and it's like she's done like six or seven. It's like, I don't know how I mean, I think I tried twice. It is unbelievably difficult to actually sit down and finish an entire screenplay or anything, book, whatever.
I tried to do that, and it was basically the same plot as I Love You, Man, and I just didn't realize it
Oh,
till like
yeah.
halfway through. I was like, God damn it, fuck.
Yeah.
This is my idea. This is my idea. for a movie.
Okay.
It stopped me if I told it on the podcast. I didn't write it, but it's up here. I never wrote it because I thought if I wrote it, it won't be as good as I think it is up here.
Well, that's a
So
great life philosophy, but go ahead.
yes,
Just never do anything.
right.
Okay.
So it's a couple. It starts on their childhood, boy and girl. They're best friends. You know, they make a deal with themselves with each other. Like, oh, if when you're, did I already tell you
I
this
know.
one?
I don't. I'm on
Okay,
the edge of my seat.
when we're older, if we when we turn 40, if neither of us are married, we'll marry each other. Oh, of course, yes, that's a good idea. They grow up, and then they kind of live in different cities, and then the guy sees on a news story that the girl was in a terrible car accident, and her face like got all mangled, and the only way they could replace her face was by using like skin of an like her body rejected all skin except for like asshole skin, so her face is just made out of asshole skin, and the movie is like a race against the clock. He has to get married before he turns 40, or else he'll have to marry this girl with asshole skin for a face.
That is fan. You know why I'm laughing so hard? It's funny, but also the whole time I was like, "How is this the plot of I Love You, Man?"
Oh no, that was a
I
different
know.
one. That was the one I wrote down.
I know. I put it together once we got the asshole skin, but I was very confused up until that point. That is, you know what that kind of sense. See, this is you're a comedy genius, so this is a compliment because it reminds me of that Curb Your Enthusiasm where he's dating the girl who has cancer, or they're engaged.
Oh yeah, we were just
Gotta find
watching
a
that the
way
other
to
night
Yeah, he's got to find a way to break it off before.
before the diagnosis.
Yeah, before the
Yeah.
diagnosis comes in. That's hilarious.
All right, what do you need backup on?
Okay, we'll go quick because we're pushing it here. Well, in this podcast, we really endeavor when we started. This was not a way for us to just complain about our wives. I feel like that was like the danger. Like we were gonna two married guys starting a podcast about what they need backup on. Oh, are you guys just gonna bitch about your wives?
I feel like
This
you have steered clear of that very
well
safely, and I have delved into that a little more than you.
until today, my
Okay.
friend, because this is direct assault. It's a very minor thing, but it's so like we have these, you know, you guys take your shoes off in the house, right? Or no?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, that's a goal.
Most
Same
we
thing
yell
with
at the
us.
kids for doing it, but we don't.
Right. So we have these like hardwood floors, and Heidi's like making a big deal about like, look, these hardwood floors, they're getting ruined. People keep walking on it. We need to get a carpet, or we need to take our shoes off and be like really diligent. I'm like, I'm pretty good about it. I hate wearing shoes in the house.
No.
So I'm like, I don't think it's me, but whatever. Then she wears these slippers in the house. Okay. But they're not like slippers where they're like soft on the bottom. They're hard soled slippers with like big rubber, like,
Oh, okay.
and she wears them like outside. And I'm like,
Kind of like the moccasin type, but they have the
yeah. And they're
yeah.
very soft and comfortable on the inside.
Yes,
But
but
then
they
the
have a hard
bottoms
bottom.
are as hard of a sole as any
Oh,
shoe that I own. I'm like, okay, so
sorry.
I I don't get it. Like, and she's like, well, I only wear them inside. But I was like, what when you take the trash out or whatever? And well, she's like, just to do that. I'm like, let me tell you something. The floor doesn't care that your foot is comfortable in the slipper. That's as hard of a sole. It's feeling the same thing as a shoe, you know?
Yeah.
And if you only walk a little bit outside, you might as well have walked a mile outside. It doesn't really matter. You're bringing in the grit from outside on a hard shoe. And then she'll put like the slippers up on the couch and everything, like as if it's all part of the comfy, cozy blanket atmosphere. It's like, no, these are shoes.
Yeah.
I think a
Uh,
shoe, if it's a hard, here's what I need backup on. If you have a hard sole, it's a shoe. You can
yes.
call it a slipper all you want, but if you can walk and not feel water from the bottom of the ground, it's a shoe.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. If it's not a shoe, I totally agree with that. If it's not a shoe, then if you walked outside once, you'd be scared you're
Ruined.
ruining it.
Yes. Totally ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like, ah, I'm ruined. This is as bad as wearing socks
See?
outside.
Slam dunk. I knew it.
Look at that. Boom. Oh my
Boom.
God. See, and you guys are doing it to protect your floor. We have adopted this more strictness. That's always been the goal, but we'd never do it. But now it's because Aaron read a stat or something about how, 98% of the germs on the bottom of, your shoe you bring into the house. And so we're scared there's just poop all over the house.
Yeah.
But
Well, now I'm scared, and everyone else is listening is scared. There's poop all over their house.
and they're probably
I mean, that is probably true because you're like, nobody has like 100% streak of like not stepping in dog shit. And then even if you do a great job of cleaning it off,
yeah.
it's not like you're disinfecting it,
Let me ask you this: like with stuff like that, like
I'm not really
I,
scared of it though.
I don't mean to be. I'm not. I hope people don't think I'm gross, but like if I can't see, if I need a microscope to
I
see
know. I
the
know.
germs, then it's not really my concern.
And like, is that someone explained to me, like, okay, so there's microscopic poop, dog poop in my house because people wore their shoes in my house. Okay.
Yeah.
But make the next leap for me. Does it smell bad? No.
Right.
Is how is it getting me sick? Is it getting
Is
me a
it getting you
cold?
sick?
Is it giving me the flu? Is it getting me dysentery? Because no one ever says how it gets you sick,
Yep.
right? I know how I get sick is when my daughter goes to daycare and there's a snotty nosed kid. That's every time I get sick. That's how.
Yeah.
I can put those together. And then I know the illness, I know how I feel, and then I know why it's happening. It's not
Yeah.
happening from traces of dog poop from people's
Yeah.
shoes.
Let me ask you this. So Edie, there was a period she was like biting her nails, bad habit, biting, and Aaron found a video that's like, I want to show you this, Edie, and this is gonna gross you out. It's gonna make you not. This is why we don't bite our nails. There's a video of someone taking, just someone's normal nails, normal person, scraping out the stuff underneath, putting it under a fucking million times magnified microscope, and there's little, organisms, little worm looking things spitting around. And it's like, isn't that gross? And I'm seeing this and I'm just like, if I was biting my nails, that would not be a deterrent at all.
Not
Unless I can
not
feel and see a little worm wiggling around. I could eat a handful of those. If they're so small that you can't see them,
yeah.
what do I care?
Well, yeah, and then again, like, okay, that's disgusting when you blow it all up and you can see it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's probably if you zoomed in on my, you know, Doritos that
Yeah,
at lunch,
exact.
there's probably some worms on there or something, like,
Right.
and
Well,
how
they say you
who
eat
is getting
spiders
sick?
in your
Like,
sleep.
there's reasons not to bite your nails, I'm sure, because it's a bad habit or you could hurt your
Yeah.
cuticles or something. But like, no one's getting sick from biting their nails,
Right.
right? I mean, I don't know. Is that
I don't know. It's
never
just
heard of
yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not trying to undercut anything, but you shouldn't bite your nails.
Right. That's not what we're saying.
Ginger sucks her thumb. There's probably a bunch of worms on that thumb. Not
Were
good.
you a thumb sucker?
I don't remember. I had a binky, like a pacifier.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't remember how long.
I had a
My
blankie and I was just a thumb sucker, and man, that
Did
was
you have
peace. That was
braces?
peace on earth. No, I never had braces. I somehow kicked it before,
That's great. Yeah.
formed to
We
get,
gotta
but
we gotta kick it before it. We take her to the dentist and they're like, yeah, she should probably stop. And like, they're like, read her a book about it. I'm like, what is she gonna care? It's like her most, like, it's the one comfort
Doc,
she has
my
in
daughter's not
life.
a
Like,
nerd.
yeah. we don't read, okay? I'm not trying to raise a loser over here, all right?
Is there maybe some sort of rave that I could take
Yeah.
her to where they talk about that?
TikTok video I can show her. Read her a book.
Okay,
Um,
Professor. Storm out. Oh, that was a weird appointment.
I'm gonna keep booking these. All right, that's it. Thank you everybody for listening. I will be in Santa Rosa, California. If you guys are in wine country,
Yeah.
October 9th? No, that's not right. Yeah, October 6th. Will this be out by October 6th? Yes.
It'll be out October 2nd.
Yeah. So October 6th. And then Eugene, Oregon, October 14th. So you can get those tickets on my
Nice.
website.
I'll be at the Great Lakes Distillery in Milwaukee, part of the Milwaukee Comedy Festival, Wednesday, October 4th. And Luke, if you're listening, I feel so terrible because I have cousins in Milwaukee, and I always text them like 2 hours before the show, and I'm like,
This is
I
the
forgot
way
to tell you I'm in Milwaukee. I
this
do
is
have a
the way you're
show.
telling them.
So this is how I'm telling them. Great Lakes Distillery, October 4th, and then Boulder Junction, the Outdoorsman on October 7th.
Okay.
And Comedy Castle, Michigan. Someone reached out on my website. Michigan, I am at Royal Oak at Comedy Castle the October 19th through 21. That'll be fun.
Right. Go to those shows. Thank you everybody for listening to
The
Cavalry.